All right. Thanks, Max. I appreciate that introduction, and I appreciate being on here today, and I appreciate everybody that's on here with us today. I know you're taking time out of your busy schedule, so I won't take a lot of time of your schedule. I just want to kind of run some things by you. Whoever invited you here, they want you to see this idea, and let me tell you again why I'm here and why I'm doing this. Again, my name's Troy Brown. I'm from Oklahoma, and I got involved with this thing that you're getting ready to see. I saw it for the first time about 12 years ago. And what happened was I just got a call out of the blue from a friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in a long time, and he called me, and he said something like this to me when he called 12 years ago. He said, "Hey, Troy, I got something you got to see." And I said something like this back, "No." And I wasn't trying to be a jerk, but I kind of was. And, I kind of blew him off that first time. But here's why I blew him off, because I was like a lot of you. The reason I said no to an ideal that I didn't even know what the ideal was because I was too busy to look at anything in my mind. In my mind, I just didn't have time to do anything else. It didn't matter what it was. And the reason I was so busy, as Max kind of alluded to in the introduction, what I did for a living is I had an anesthesia practice. And, I love doing anesthesia. And if you go look up incomes in the United States right now, top incomes in the world, the anesthesia is at the top in the United States, at least right now, top income in the world. And so in the United States. And so that's what I did for a living. And I love doing anesthesia. It was a good profession, good money, all those kind of things. But the problem was I was that typical professional time broke guy. And I was working 80 to 100 hours a week, just didn't have any time, making lots of money. But I'll ask you this, what good is money if you have no time? And when my friend called and said, "Hey, I got something you got to see," I blew him off and I hung up. And luckily for me, the phone rang about 20 minutes later. It was him again. And the second time he talked to me, he wasn't quite as polite as the first time. He kind of got after me a little bit and said, let me get this right. You can't even take 20 minutes to talk to me? You don't even know what it is? And I said, "You're right. You come by and we'll talk." So he came by and started talking about this ideal 12 years ago. By the way, this ideal's 12 years old. So this was brand new back then. And he walked into this little cafe that I met him in. I said, "I got 20 minutes. That's it." And he walked in and he started to talk to me about this ideal of travel. But it wasn't just travel. It was a new way of travel. He kept talking about this new way, and he had found this company, and he had found this people that had found this new way of traveling. But when he said travel, I don't know about you, but sometimes what I do is I start getting mind pictures in my mind about what somebody's talking about when they say certain words or phrases. And when he said the word travel, it's not the word I heard. When he said travel, what I heard was timeshare. And to be quite frank with you, I didn't want anything to do with the timeshare. I'd done it before. For me, it wasn't a good experience, and I didn't want to do it again. So he said travel, I heard timeshare, and I kind of shut him off right there in that 20-minute meeting. I quit listening. I was pretending to listen, but I wasn't listening. I know that happens to other people besides me sometimes, but that's what happened that day. And so he started talking travel, and he started talking specifically new way of travel. And he said this company and their idea, they were going to be like the Sam's and Costco of travel. And what he meant by that was they were going to get these members of this travel club, and they were going to take those members and they were going to leverage those members. Just like Sam's and Costco. Sam's and Costco have over 120 million members. And when they go buy something at Sam's and Costco, the way they get it cheaper than most people, other places, is they leverage us, the members, and they go buy in bulk. And if they're buying paper or pens or whatever, I'm here at my desk, I'm just looking around, whatever they're buying, they go leverage us, and they go buy 10 warehouses of pens. They buy 10 warehouses of paper, drive the price down, and then they pass the savings on to their members so that their members will do something specific for them. Their members, if they get a better price, they will tell other people they know it's cheaper across the street over here at Sam's or Costco. And that's the way they've got 120 million members. It's a proven model. It works. And so he said, we're going to do that in the travel space. And so he said, we're going to be members, and as members, we can go on these things called dream trips. And he started telling me about these dream trips. And he said, as a member, we could go all over the world, do all these special kind of trips. We'd go on cruises and all-inclusives and golf trips and spa trips and pretty much sporting events, whatever you want. And he said, because you're a member, you're going to get a better price and you're going to get a better experience. And he started showing me some of those dream trips right then, 12 years ago. And he started telling me about dream trips. And he'd write one down on his piece of paper and he'd tell me all about it. And it looked great. And then he would say, if you're a member, here's your price. And it was an unbelievable price, way better than retail. And it was awesome. And I would kind of do something like this. Ooh, that's awesome. But I wasn't really listening. I was just pretending, right? And he did that 4 or 5 times. I listened to him, and at the end of it, he asked me a question. He said, Troy, you're going to go on a vacation this year, aren't you? And you know what my answer was? No. I didn't go last year, and I didn't go the year before that. Now, I'll ask you guys, you didn't even know me, but 12 years ago, do you think I wasn't going on vacation just because I hated vacations? No, I wasn't going on vacation because I didn't have the time to go on vacation. And some of you are just like that, but there's other people out here listening that maybe you do have time, but you may not have the money. And then there's some of you that you don't have either time or money, and that really sucks. But let me ask you a question. If time and money weren't a problem, do you want to see more of the world God created for us? And the answer is yes. And when I said, no, I'm not going on vacation, he said to me, well, let's say you did. Let's just say you did. Would you rather pay wholesale or retail? And I said, that's a stupid question. Everybody'd rather pay wholesale. But then I got really real with my friend. I said, let me tell you my problem. And I pointed to his piece of paper where he was writing all this down. And I said to my friend that day, 12 years ago, I don't believe those prices. I know you're not lying to me, but this is brand new, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, have you ever been on one of these dream trips? He said, no. I said, do you know anybody that's been on a dream trip? He said, no. I said, man, that's the problem. You're going to go because I've kind of done this stuff before. Remember the timeshare stuff? I've kind of done this stuff before, and you're going to get there, and there's going to be hidden prices. They're going to upcharge you and all this stuff, and they're going to do it, and there's going to be hidden agendas, and you don't want to do this. And I tried to talk my friend out of this 12 years ago, but when I got done trying to talk him out of it, he just was really calm. I thought he was going to really fight me on this, but he just said this. You know what? That's real. What you're saying is real. I don't know. It's brand new. I've never been on one. I don't know anybody that's been on. But here's what my friend said. He said, Troy, get in the travel club with me. Let's go on one of these dream trips together. And let's take our families. And if it doesn't work, we'll both quit. And I said, you can quit? Because in the timeshare industry, you can't quit. You're in a contract you can't get. I said, you can quit? And he goes, yeah. Then I said, okay, what's it cost to get involved in your little travel club? And he picked up my phone. And he said, you can get in for the less of the cost of this phone. Again, if you've ever done a timeshare, you know that's not anywhere close to the cost. And I said, that's the cost? He goes, yeah. And I pulled out my wallet, I pulled out my credit card, and I handed him my credit card, and I said, put me in right now. You know what my friend did when I handed the credit card? Something like this. He goes, really? You're in? I said, yeah, man, put me in. And he put me in the club. And I'd love to tell you I got in that day because I understood what was going on, but I didn't understand, did I? Because I wasn't even listening. I'd love to tell you I knew that I got in that day because I knew I could read into the future and I could see what was going to happen. You want to know what happened 12 years later? Just last year, this company, just in 1 year, did right at $1 billion in revenue. 1 year. Okay? That's what happened last year. Now, I didn't know that. That's not why I got in. I'd love to tell you I got in because I knew they were going to hit the Inc. 5000 in this company. They did that. Not only the Inc. 5000, but top 15%. But I didn't know that either. That's not why I got in. I'd love to tell you I knew they were going to hit all these major awards given in travel, but that's not why I got in. Here's why I got in. I got in to get my friend off my back. See, it was less than the cost of this phone. I'd spent that on a golf club the week before. My wife has spent that on shoes. And you want to know something about that? Neither one of us asked the other one for permission. See, it was a purchase we could do without asking at least a few $100. Now, if it's a few thousand, tens of thousands, okay, maybe we need to discuss it. But for that, I got in. And I got in, and then when I got in, he gave me my website and said, you're part of the club and all that kind of stuff. I said, that's awesome. And I said, I got to go. My 20 minutes is up. And I went to the OR, and I didn't think about this again that day. But then I had to go home, and when I got home, my wife asked me about it. She said, hey, what did he want? I said, oh, he wanted me to get involved in this travel club thing. She said, did you do it? I said, yeah, I did it. And I started walking off. She goes, well, this mean we're finally going to go on vacation? She hadn't been in years. I said, I don't know. She goes, well, how do you know where you can go? And I'm like, I had no clue. I wasn't listening. But I got this website. And she said, well, I'm going to go check it out. And I went and changed. And while I was changing, you know what my wife did? She booked one of these dream trips without me knowing. And we go. So I'm kind of mad about that because I didn't get in to go on a trip. I didn't think it'd work. But we go. And you want to know what happened on that first trip? Exactly what my friend said would happen. See, he said we'd spend less. I've been to that resort before that we went to. I paid 1/3 of what I paid the first time. 1/3. Same kind of room, same amount of days, all that kind of stuff. But then he said, when I get there, I'm going to have a better time. I didn't understand what that meant, but when I got there, I had a host. When I got there, I got extras thrown in. I got to swim with the dolphins. I didn't get that the first time. And it was all at 1/3 of the price of the first time. And then I met people like you that were there too. You didn't know why you were there. You were in this new club too, and it created this culture. See, that's where this thing really has got. It's created a culture. So this whole new way, I had the greatest time I've ever had. It was unbelievable. I met people like you. And then on Friday, I quit having fun. You know why? Because I had to go back to work. And I knew it. On Monday, I'm going back to work. And don't Mondays after vacation suck? But I went back to work on Monday. I go into the OR. I got the first patient of the day. I'm putting them to sleep. There's 10 or 12 people in the OR. And here's what changed everything for me. Just like you, when you go on vacation, in that OR that day, somebody that I worked with asked me this question. Hey, Troy, how was your vacation? They always ask, don't they? And I started telling them, and I told them all this stuff, and it all went through me. I was showing them pictures. I was telling them how great it was. And then when I got done telling them how great it was, I said, you're not going to believe what I paid for this. And when I said that, every head in the room turned my way because they're nosy, just like your friends. They want to know what I paid. And I said the price of this trip, and they were like, how'd you do that? They didn't believe it. And I said, this travel club, this thing, I didn't even know the name at this point. And then I don't know about where you work, but where I've always worked, there's always at least one know-it-all. And in that room that day, know-it-all nurse says this to me. She goes, wait a minute. You got all that stuff and all the swimming with the dolphins and golf and all that stuff. And that's the price you paid, and there wasn't any upcharges or anything like that? And I said, no, I could have left my wallet home because I didn't bring it out again. It was everything, food, taxes, fees, everything. She said, oh, but you had to sit through one of those things all week, didn't you? I'm like, no. In fact, this host lady said, if there were any distractions, let me know, because she wanted it to be a peak life experience. She said, really? And I said, yeah. And then the magic words started coming out of that OR that day. See, people started asking me, well, hey, can we get that kind of price on that kind of trip too if we do that? And I was like, yeah, come on. I didn't really know if they could or not. I was just so excited. I was like, yeah, come on. You know what happened? 7 people in that OR got in that day. Now, this is very important if you're here for the first time. Why did 7 people get in? Was it because I was so good at explaining this whole deal? I didn't even know the name. I didn't know what it was all about. Was it because I'm a travel expert and I can just sell travel so well? No, that sure wasn't it. Here's why 7 people got in. Because travel is an inherent yes. If you don't believe me, if you've got kids, do we have to convince your kids they want to go to Disney World? The answer is no. See, travel, the world's a book, and most of us are reading one page over and over again, aren't we? But if you could, would you want to see more of the world God created for you? And the answer is yes. It's an inherent yes. So I got in. So let's talk about this new way real quick. This is what got me started. See, when I got excited about it, I started telling other people about the new way. My friends, my family, hey, this was incredible. And they got in and they went on trips and they started telling people. But here's why we got excited, because in the old way of travel, if I was going to Disney World, I'm staying, by the way, all these dream trips, we did over 6,000 last year. The places we stay are 4- and 5-star type places, not just places where they keep the lights on. So if we're going to Orlando, let's stay at the Gaylord Palms. Let's have an experience, a great place. And so if you did that and you're going online, I bet this is the way you do the old way. You go to Expedia, Orbitz, Cheap Tickets, Hotwires, Hotel.com, whatever it is, looking for the best price. Well, the best price on this trip when we did it was $282 a night online. For 2 people, for 3 days, that'd be $846. Hopper passes, 2 people, $310. Breakfast every day, $240. Transportation, $100. For 2 people, if you're the best online shopper, you would have got this for around $1,500. But if you became a club member with us, and remember, we're the Sam's and Costco, we're driving the price down and passing the savings on to you, our member. Well, instead of 2 people paying $1,500 total, in our club for this exact same trip, Gaylord, Hopper passes, breakfast, our people paid $538 for 2 people. That's a pretty big savings. So if you're here for the first time, just answer this. Would you, if this was real, now I know some of you are skeptical, and so was I, but if this is real, would you rather pay $1,500 or $538? Now, I know the answer, it's $538. But you're like me, I was skeptical, and I said to my friend, I don't believe that price. Well, that was 12 years ago. Here's the difference in now and then. We are now 12 years old. We don't advertise, and the only way people go is if their friends go on a trip and it works and they refer their friends. And so would anybody refer their friend if that didn't work? We did $1 billion last year. We're on the Inc. 5000. So can we all agree that those 6,000 trips plus last year worked? Because what I usually do at this point is just show you trip after trip after trip. But I don't want to do that right now. Know that our foundation of this company is still the dream trips, and it's still the travel, but it's working, and we did $1 billion. So what I want to do, that was phase 1, where we did stress-free vacations on your current budget. We've done it for 12 years in 35 markets around the world, and we did over 6,000 trips now last year. Now, that was phase 1. I want to talk about phase 2, because what we've done in this company, we have a founder that's like always wants to go forward. And so we're going to keep phase 1, the billion-dollar platform, but we're going to add to it some other platforms and create phase 2. See, what happened in the beginning, a lot of my buddies, when this started, I said, get in, and they didn't get in for the same reason I didn't think I was going to get in, because it was new and they didn't have time, and they missed phase 1. Well, now we're going into phase 2. Those same people are saying, I want to be in, because they understood what happened in the last 12 years. Well, here's the good thing. You can still capitalize on phase 1 and phase 2 now. So let's talk about phase 2. See, in phase 2, we're a lot like, just to correlate this, it's kind of like Apple computers, the story of Apple computers. You know, Steve Jobs started Apple back in the 80s, and it was floundering, and he was kind of a visionary, and some of the people he worked with thought he was crazy. Well, somewhere along the way, he started talking about things more than computers. He knew he was the computer company, but he knew it was more, and he started talking about this ecosystem and all this stuff. And you know what happened over time? They fired him from his own company. They fired Steve Jobs from his own company, but they brought him back in the 90s, and in 1997, they brought him back to save the company, and in 1998, he came out with a new computer, and it was called the iMac. See, they had the Apple I, Apple II before that, all that stuff, but he kept talking about this ecosystem, and he named the new one the iMac. Now, he was excited about the computer, but he was more excited about the I of the iMac because it represented the ecosystem. And so he said, we got to have an ecosystem to drive this company to the place we want it to be. It's more than computers. So in 2001, he made it more than computers. He came out with the second part of the ecosystem. He came out with iTunes and the iPod. Now, follow me here. The people that didn't own a computer at all, not an iMac, any kind of computer, a lot of them went out and bought the iPod and the iTunes so that they could have a jukebox in their pocket and listen to music all the time. 100 songs in their pocket. That's what they said in 2001. Think about where that's gone, right? Well, now what happened is those people that bought the iPod and used the iTunes, they started buying the computer because they're all correlated really well. So they started getting greater sales of the base product, which is computer, from the release of the next part of the ecosystem. But see, he said that's just back and forth. We got to have an ecosystem that goes around. So in 2007, he came out with the iPhone. Now, most of you on this webinar, you have an iPhone. The ones that don't have an iPhone, you have something that looks just like it. But in 2007, nobody had anything look like this. They had a flip phone. They had phones with buttons. This phone has no buttons, and the experts said, hey, nobody wants a phone without buttons. I don't want a phone that does all this other stuff. But see, Steve Jobs was a visionary, and he said, yeah, they do. Well, he was right. They were wrong. You know what happened to the iPhone. It became one of the greatest inventions of all time. And here's the thing. When you get an iPhone today, if you get a brand new one today, before it'll work, you got to do something to the iPhone. You got to download their app called iTunes to set it all up. So now, let's say you have an iPhone in 2007 and you don't have an iPod and you don't have a computer, but you get an iPhone and now you have to download the iTunes. Now you're in the ecosystem. You getting this? So the ecosystem was his big play. And what happened is in 2007, that iPhone started driving sales back in a crazy way to the base product of the iMac. So here we are now in an ecosystem that the iMac drives sales that way and this drives sales that way. And now let me prove it to you. If you're out there listening to today, how many of you have at least one Apple product of any kind? Okay, now answer this. How many have two? How many have three? How many have four? Hey, put your hand up again if you have Beats by Dr. Dre and you forgot it's an Apple product. Yeah, they're big, and it's the ecosystem. Why do I tell you this story? Because in 2005, I met a guy named Wayne. Wayne's the founder of this company that started this idea, and he came up with dream trips that I showed you and told you about. And Wayne told us a bunch of us about this idea, and we got excited. But see, Wayne's a visionary too, and he started talking about an ecosystem as well. And he said, and we kind of said, Wayne, you're crazy, man. This is working. Let's stay to the trips. And we are. We're always going to be the dream trip company. But he said it's bigger than that. And in 2013, he came out with the second part of our ecosystem. See, what Wayne said is, I want the best prices on the trips. I want our people to have the best experience, but I also want them to be able to earn their vacations to drive the price down lower and lower and lower, and sometimes even to zero. So that's what he's done. He created this cloud in the sky called Earn Vacations, and stuff you do every day is going to earn you points, and 1 point equals $1. It's in the cloud, and it's going to rain dream trips on you because you're going to drive the price even down further from that already lowest price. So here, how do you earn points? Well, when you join. When you become a member, the money you spend to become a member, 100% of them go into your cloud. So you get all the dollars back, okay? When you share it with somebody you know, you're going to earn points for that too. When you go shop at 4,000 retailers that we do business with and you buy something, pick anything that you buy from them, you earn points there. And then now a new part of it, when you go eat out, when you go eat at a restaurant, you're going to earn points. So all that stuff, that dining is brand new. Think about how many people you know that dine. So now you're earning points, and 1 point equals $1, and you can drive those prices on those dream trips back down. But see, let me tell you something. With that, with all that phase 2 stuff came a problem, and we need a solution. See, let me tell you what the problem is. How do you track all the points? Because remember, you go out and eat, you earn points. So you understand we're in 35 markets around the world. So somebody in Hong Kong is eating right now. Somebody in Athens, Greece is eating. Somebody in London is eating. Somebody in Florida right now is eating. How do they track these points? Well, we came up with this idea called the smart card, the fly card. And there it is right there. And so that card, it kind of looks like a credit card, which it does function like a credit card, but it does way more than that. See, every time we do something within, that card is going to be the tracker of the ecosystem. And this is in beta form right now. Our members have it. We'll be releasing it to the world here soon. But right now, our members only have it to help us work out everything we need in it. So when I go eat right now, when I'm going to earn points, so that will track it. So here's a restaurant I went to in my hometown. I went and had Cajun food here. I spent $30 and I got 15 points back. That's $15 basically. And it says my total points are 2,340. So I can use that to drive the prices down on dream trips. Okay. Now, that's what's going on. Let me show you the card, just some functioning of it. Here it is. It's not just a card, it's a computer. So you got to turn a computer on, right? So you rub that chip and it comes on. Did you see the LED screen? This changed. That light blinked. Now, it has a security code. You got to put a code into it, so it's ultra secure. And when you put that in, you can put multiple cards up. You can choose which card of yours you want to use. Look at all these cards that are in there. So now you can take all your cards, put it into one, and when you use it, you can get points. Okay? Well, Troy, I already get points on my Visa card. Well, me too. I'm getting points on the Visa and the Cloud. You get how I'm double dipping here? So how do you put those in? How do you put the cards in your new card, in your smart card? We give you a thing that looks like a hockey puck. You put your new smart card on one side. You take your old card and you swipe it on the other and watch that LED screen. When you do that, it loads all of it. Now that information is in the card. Everything is in there. This is a very, very high-tech deal. How do I charge the card? The same hockey puck. It takes about 20 minutes to charge it. It lasts a long, long, long time. Okay, so you stick it in there and you charge. So what we got here, remember, is a computer. It's cutting-edge technology that we have, and we're beta testing it. So you're in the start of phase 2. We did $1 billion without this. We did $1 billion. Do you think that this might drive some more sales? Just like Apple, just like the iPhone. Okay, so what it is it's ultra secure, ultra convenient, ultra smart. It runs off our app. It's waterproof. It has beacon technology, and you earn points. Okay, now why do I tell you all this? Because if you get a smart card, remember, there's people in the very near future that aren't in the club, but they might want a smart card. Well, we're going to let outside people have a smart card. They can buy it from you. You'll earn commission off of that as well. But when they buy it, we're just like the iPhone. When they buy it, to set their smart card up, they got to download our app. It's called Dream Trips app. Now, they go in the Dream Trips app to load all the information in with that hockey puck and everything. It all correlates with Bluetooth. And when they go in to do that, you think with an app called Dream Trips, they might see a Dream Trip back there. So they're loading cards and they're not in the club. But when they go in there, they're going to see a Dream Trip. But they're going to see it at retail price. So they're going to see this island in Spain, for example. 2 people can go for 6 nights for $1,000, and they can use points too because they're getting points when they buy that card. So they get 120 points. So they take the 120 points off of the $999. So they're really going on that trip for $880. They go to book it, but right before they book it, they see another button there that says exclusive member pricing. Do you think you might know somebody nosy enough to click that button? So they click that button, and when they click it, guess what they're going to see? The exact same trip at member prices. So instead of $999, it's $769. Instead of 120 points, they can use 300 points. So instead of $880, they're paying $469. Let me ask you again, $880 or $469? Which would you take? So they say, well, I want the $469 price, so they go to book it over there. And when they book it, guess what it's going to do? Oh, sorry, you're not a member. But if you'd like to be a member, click this button. And now they become the member. Did you see how the card just switched it and became the ecosystem that drove sales back to the base product of Dream Trips? See, we did $1 billion without this. What are we going to do with it? Because, see, this card is a marketing machine, man. I'm telling you. So what has happened with that card, it's driving sales back the other way, and now we got the same looking ecosystem that Apple did. Apple's the largest company in the world. It's the most recognized brand on the world. They didn't do it with just computers. We won't do it with just travel. It's our base product, just like computers, but see, the ecosystem's a bigger deal. But here's another problem. To this point, those points, all you could do was use those points to drive prices of Dream Trips down. And let me tell you the problem. People start getting all these points, but they run out of vacation time because a lot of people have jobs with only 2 or 3 weeks vacation. So let's say you've used all your vacation, but you've got points left. What are you going to do? Well, now, see, our company, when there's a problem, we come up with a solution. Not only can you drive Dream Trips down now, but you can drive Dream Trips rewards down. What does that mean? We have other stuff that you can use these points on as well. We can use trips, but now let's say you want to go, you're not going on a Dream Trip, but you need a hotel to stay somewhere. You need something like that. You want to shop and buy some merchandise. You want wine. Let's look at like some hotels. You're going somewhere for a weekend. Let's say you're going to Miami. Here's Expedia prices on the left. You see them, $279, $323, $373. Same exact hotels, same dates. With this program to the right, you can see the prices. Instead of $279, $141. Instead of $323, $187. Instead of $373, $231. Same hotel, same day, same everything. We can use points to drive it even down more. Here's New York. You can see the same thing. The prices over there, better prices. This is a brand new program that just came out last week. Just came out last week. So we're making the value of the membership go up and up and up all the time. Here's Las Vegas. Expedia on the left, rewards on the right. You can see the prices difference there. Let's say you're going out of the country. You're going to Paris, France, going out of the United States. Expedia on the left, us on the right. Here's Dubai. Expedia on the left, us on the right. All the prices, you can see that. Well, what if you need some merchandise? Let's go shopping for some merchandise. You want to buy something. Let's say you want some luggage to go on some of those trips. Here's some Tumi luggage. You can see the market price over to the left at $495. If you want to know that's for sure the price, go click those links that take you outside of our site, and it shows you that price at Nordstrom's and luggage.com and all these stuff. Well, our price, when you click those, our price, though, is $344. That's a savings of $151 for you. Well, I need some golf clubs. I'm going on a trip, and here's some ladies' clubs. My wife needs some new clubs, so that's why I picked this. $600, our price, $458 on the rewards program, using these points to drive it down. Invicta Watch. The price, regular price on the market, you can go see where it's at, overstock.com, $126. Our price, $69. Well, you want to listen to some music on a JBL portable speaker, $300, market price. Our price, $209. How about this? You've done some shopping, but now you need a drink. You want some wine. Well, you can go get wine. We got lots of wine. Here's a cab, a semi-cab, $75. Our price. You can see our price, $60. Guys, this is hot. This is brand new. We did $1 billion without this as well. What are we going to do with it? And it's all being tracked by the card in phase 2 with the ecosystem. You see how big this is? Now, of everything I've told you, of the ecosystem and how it all works and the card and how smart it is. You want to know the greatest thing about the card? This is the greatest thing. It blinks. See, when you turn this thing on and you pay for it at a restaurant, pay for your merchandise at a store or a restaurant, when you hand that blinking card to somebody, they always take it and look at it, and they ask you this question: what is this? And then you tell them you're in beta testing with a company that's come out with this new smart card. And you tell them all about it. And before you leave, they're going to ask you this: how do I get one? It happens. See, this is a great marketing tool. Not only does it track our systems, it's a great marketing tool. And it makes it easier for you to share the idea with other people. We did $1 billion without this. Now, right now, the only people that have the card and that kind of stuff are people that are Dream Trips members. So that's who's got it right now. But soon, very soon, the card can go to the United States. And then soon, right after that, it goes to the world. And I know I heard people from Africa, I heard people from Europe, I heard people from Asia on here. It's coming. It's coming to everybody. But to have it right now, you got to be a member. We have 3 memberships. We have the standard, the gold, the platinum. Now, the gold and the platinum are the only place you can get the cards and the rewards points. The standard is only trips. That's it. That one's $130, one-time fee of $130 and $30 a month. But remember, it all goes into the cloud. The gold is $255 and $55 a month. It all goes into the cloud. And the platinum is $400 and $100 a month. All goes into that cloud. No matter which one you pick, the standard, the gold, the platinum, the money goes in the cloud. You get to use it again. So it really, if you think about it, it's not really costing you anything to get in. You get to use it again on merchandise, on trips, on whatever. Okay? Well, Troy, this all looks good, but I don't need another monthly payment. Well, let's get rid of that monthly payment. If you share this idea with 4 people and they get involved, your monthly payment goes away. Get 4, pay no more. You want to hear something really cool? Let's say you're a platinum. You're supposed to pay $100 a month, but you get 4, so you're not paying it. The company still puts that $100 a month in your cloud, and at the end of the year, you got $1,200 sitting there. You want to know something else? On the rewards program, you can use those every month. You don't have to wait till the end of the year on that for the rewards program. Now, if you become a member, then you're a customer. You're called a customer. You're that purple circle there. You're a purple people. Okay, and that's what we've done $1 billion with. But we have another group of people we did $1 billion with, the people that wanted to make money off of everything that goes on inside that purple circle. Those are the blue people. They're called reps. So you can be a customer or a rep, or you see how they overlap? You can be both. So the reps earn money off of what goes on in the purple circle. So that's where we've done $1 billion. But if you listened really close and you heard the card and you heard me say there's going to be a new community of people that we introduce here, they're not members. They're not reps. It's a new community called the citizens, the pink people. Now look at this graph. Which is bigger, the blue, the purple, or the pink? The pink. We did $1 billion without the pink, and we're getting ready to introduce them to this deal, and it's going to explode. It's getting ready to go viral. It's already gone viral, but you're seeing it before the big thing happens. The citizens are coming. It's getting ready to get big. So here's how we've made money at this point. Off of a sea of blue signs, that's our membership, and blinking lights. And when you refer this to somebody, you override. And when they refer, you override there. It's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Are you getting this? So you tell somebody, and you override. Oh, Troy, it's one of those things. Yeah, just like your job. It's called leverage. Somebody leverages you every day. In this deal, you get to be the leverager, not the leveragee. And so now you tell some people, remember I told you 7 people in the OR got in that day with me. Well, in this deal, those 7 people have turned into hundreds of thousands of people. Guys, that's called leverage. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but it could. Now, here's the exciting thing. We got a new group of people we're making money off of, the hungry people. As the hungry people go eat with this card in our restaurants, all of a sudden, every time somebody eats, cha-ching, your phone's going to ding, and you're going to look and say, somebody just ate in Asia. Somebody just ate in Africa. Somebody just ate in Oklahoma, and I just overrode it. You see how big this is getting. Every time one of those dots show up, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what happens here, and it's exciting. It's getting bigger and bigger all the time. And so if you're listening to this for the first time, let me ask you this. After you've seen the card, after you've seen all that, can you think of anybody that might want that card, that might want to get involved in the club? Well, if they want the card right now and they don't get in the club, they have to go on a list, and we'll put them on the list. They'll be one of the first ones to get the card, and they'll be in. If there's somebody you know that wants a card, but they'd like to get in before the wave of people and they want to make money off of it, or they want to get in before the wave gets here, they need to become a customer. But if there's somebody who wants a card, want to be a customer, and they want to make money, they need to be a rep. Here's how you become a rep. It's $120 one time and $20 a month. When you do that, you become in business with this company called World Ventures. This is who set it all up. We're based out of Dallas, Texas, Plano area. That's our office space. It's 100,000 square foot. We got 700 employees. We got offices in Asia and Europe and Africa, all 50 states. We're on the Inc. 5000. We did just under $1 billion last year. You've heard me say all that. And they do all that stuff for you. We're just going to do the fun stuff and tell people about it. So I want to bring some people on right now. I've told you about it. I want to bring some people on and let them tell their story. The first person I'm going to bring on is Catherine Strickland, and Catherine is out of Memphis, Tennessee. Her and her husband Courtney got involved, and they've had a really good run here and just getting started. So I'm going to bring Catherine on. Catherine, are you there?
Thank you so much, Troy, for having me on. My name is Catherine Strickland. I'm 37 years old. I'm a registered nurse by trade. My husband and I, Courtney Strickland, we also owned a barbershop and an aftercare program. And when we got introduced to this concept, I loved what I saw, but all I could think of was how much we were working. Because, see, I was working as one of the nursing supervisors for the school district, and I also was working every other weekend at a rehab facility. My husband, he was working 12 hours a day at the barbershop. And then also we would leave there and go run our aftercare program from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I just could not imagine how we were going to get this thing done. How are we going to do this? How are we going to travel? And so what I was told was just use the 30-minute lunch breaks, the 15-minute breaks during the day, whatever small pockets of time I had to build this business. And that's exactly what I did. I would use my 30-minute breaks and tell my friends about the vacations, send them the links just like you were sent this evening. And they loved it, and they started doing the same thing. So 5 years later, today, we've been in this company about 5 years. We've retired from our jobs. We've sold our barbershops. We've sold our aftercare programs, and this is all we do. We've taken well over 60 to 70 vacations within the last 5 years, and now we have our time back, and I'm excited about that. We're building the business. We're traveling the world, and we're spending more time with our friends and family. Thank you so much, World Ventures.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you coming on. And so I'm going to go another place here and bring on somebody else. This is a great friend of mine. He's out of Colorado. His name's Jeff Morrell. Jeff's been in for a little bit here. You have great things going on. So, Jeff, are you there?
Hey, Troy. Thanks for having us on the webinar. My wife, Lane, and I, we saw this idea a little over 8 years ago, had a big real estate business in Colorado Springs. We were in the top 20 in town out of about 4,000 realtors and made a lot of money with that. I'm grateful for it. But I saw this, my biggest concern, I don't have time for it. I'm working 90 hours a week, 7 days a week, and I was tired of that. We had no life. And so we jumped in really more for the travel. Took our first trip with the company. It was a 5-day cruise, $380 total for my wife, my 2 kids, and I. We had a blast on the trip, saved about $1,000 off Expedia's price. And I was sold on the trips. Came back from that trip, went into my real estate office the next day, and 5 realtors joined because they wanted to take the trip. And, that was the start of me doing the business. I never thought I'd be doing this, but about 3 years ago, we were able to walk away from our real estate, and this is all we do now full time. And it's been the biggest blessing of our lives. I mean, it's been huge. We've been on 52 vacations in 51 months. Took our kids to Paris for spring break a couple years ago. My wife and I did London last year. We've been to Ireland twice. We went down to Guatemala, built a school down there with our kids, which was just a life-changing trip. I thank God every day for this company. Thank you, World Ventures.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you coming on out there in Colorado. And so I'm going to take it to another place here. This is a friend of mine. He and his wife, Bree, Tony Smith. He's a great guy. He's out of Alabama. He's kind of gloating right now. Alabama kind of did it again in the college football scene. So he's got a bigger smile than even that picture. So, Tony, are you there?
Thanks, Troy, for allowing me to pop on this call. Hey, guys, my name's Tony Smith. I'm 30 years old, and I saw this idea almost 5 years ago. At the time, me and my wife, we were both active-duty military. I was on a deployment out in Africa, and she was out on a deployment in Afghanistan. And so for us, needless to say, we knew we need a vacation when we got back. So the vacations part of this was a no-brainer, but the business was our biggest hiccup because, one, we had never done anything like this before, and the military workload already put a strain on our marriage, and we didn't know if we'd have time for it. But thank God World Ventures had a system. We were able to plug right into it, and it taught us how to go out and create leverage and to collapse time frames. And now it allowed me to walk away from the military 11 years early and pursue this thing full time. And we've been on over 65 vacations now with this company. Thank you, World Ventures.
All right. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you coming on out there. I know you're getting ready to travel out to San Diego, California, so have fun out there. One more. I'm going to bring one more on. This is a great buddy of mine, again, out in Tennessee. This guy, he's reached the top of the company, top level of the company. He's out in Tennessee, as I said, great friend of mine, Mr. Jonathan Gooch. Are you there, Gooch?
Hey, Troy, I'm here. Hey, guys, this is Jonathan Gooch. I saw this idea about 9 years ago when a gentleman walked into my restaurant and said, I've got something you've got to see. I was busy. I had those 2 restaurants that I owned, and I also was a pastor of a church, and I saw it for the vacations more than anything. Little did I know the economy would crash those restaurants. I would lose everything, and I would walk to my church on a Sunday morning, and they would tell me they didn't want me to be their pastor anymore. I didn't have an option. I had to do something, and I always say it was by the grace of God that World Ventures was there. I picked it up. I started sharing it with a few people, and now that few people have turned into thousands all over the world, and we get to travel and do things that I've always dreamed about. We've been able to hit the top rank of this company, and the lifestyle that we get to live because of the decision made and the efforts that we put in has been unbelievable. So thank you guys for getting on today. Thank you for allowing me to be on this call, Troy, and I look forward to seeing everybody on the beaches of the world.
All right. Thank you, Gooch. I appreciate you coming on. So I just want to wrap up here. You know, again, if you're looking for the first time, you got a couple of options here. Whoever brought you on, they'd love for you to be a member and go have fun with us and see the world and get all these other benefits of the membership. So we got 3 different memberships. We got the basic, the gold, or the platinum. I'll just be real with you. Pick the one that picks you. You know, probably the most popular one that's sold the most is the gold. But what happens is people get in and they see real quick that they want to upgrade to the platinum because of the other benefits there. And again, whoever brought you can give you more details on the benefits. But platinum is by far our greatest value. If you're going to travel, you're going to save the most money there. You're going to get more points off. You're going to do all that stuff. So whichever one fits you, though. And if you want to make money off this idea, then you need to become a rep. So remember, you can do one without the other, or you can do both. But that's how this works. So before I get off, I just want you to know, get back with whoever brought you. They'll get you, they'll give you an income disclosure statement, that whole deal. And also, I'll give you one other thing. If you want to hear some other success stories and people that are just like you, dial this number, 301-689-4111. But again, I'll just say this to you. If this fits you, don't wait, because there's other people. The person who invited you, they're going to have some other people. Get in, position yourself. The very best position is now. Whenever it is, now's the best position. We'd love to have you with us, and I hope someday that I'm on a trip and you come up to me and said, hey, I was on that webinar that day, and some of you are iced in out east and in the Midwest. I know that, but I hope someday you come up and say, hey, I was on that webinar, I heard you say it, and I got in, and then we're going to be on a trip together. I hope to see you on the beaches of the world. I'm going to turn it back to you, Max. Thanks for having me on, man. This was awesome.